Yankees Nation, take a deep breath with me, because the atmosphere today is heavy, deep, the kind that shakes the soul of anyone who lives the Bronx. On one side, Captain Aaron Judge opening his heart after winning his third American League MVP, saying he would trade every award just for a real chance to lift the trophy. On the other, the front office facing an offseason that promises to shake up the roster, with the name Ryan Jeffers appearing strongly on the radar to reinforce a position that hurt the most this season. Catcher. It's that contrast only Yankees Nation understands. The pride of seeing our captain at the top and the weight of another year without the ring. At the same time, the hope that serious changes, like the possible arrival of Jeffers and the new role for Ben Rice, might finally fix a team that had the war of a champion but the soul of a wounded one. The heart of Yankee Stadium doesn't beat weak. Never has. And when Judge says what he said, when Cashman admits tough trades are coming, when the Bronx catches fire in the offseason, you can feel that something is about to change. Drop that like to show that Yankees Nation never stays quiet, not when the Bronx hurts, and even less when the Bronx dreams. News 1. The season ended and left deep marks. The team carried the highest WAR in the majors, but it seemed to lack that fire that has always defined the Bronx. The fans felt and said that the roster had talent, but not the drive needed to turn numbers into big wins. And in this almost suffocating scenario, Aaron Judge, after winning his third American League MVP, decided to show that behind every statistic, there's a captain who feels every loss as if it were personal. The state of the team at the end of the season was one of collective frustration. The Yankees went far, but never far enough. The loss to the Toronto Blue Jays, especially the way it happened, shattered the confidence of a group that, on paper, looked ready for anything. And while the front office looked for explanations, while Boone talked about spending his whole life chasing a World Series, the fans looked at the field and saw a roster that, despite everything, had failed to break through the emotional wall this team has carried since 2009. And what came next no one expected. Judge opened his heart. He said he would trade all his awards, all his all-star games, everything, for a single opportunity to compete, not win, compete for a championship. A statement like that, coming from the captain, cuts through any fan. It shows the pressure is real, that the frustration isn't only coming from the stands. Judge reinforced what he has always said. Awards are awards, but winning games is what matters. And even when asked about the debate with Cal Raleigh, he made it clear, that's not my job. He wants to win. He wants October. He wants the ring. And that raises an uncomfortable question. How long will the greatest player of his generation carry this weight without a return? The reaction to all of this was filled with emotion. Fans, analysts, even people inside the organization felt the impact of what the captain said. Boone, who also lived this almost obsessive chase for a World Series, spoke in the same direction. I've been chasing this dream my whole life. Judge's words don't expose the team. They expose the moment. They show a gigantic franchise living far too long without its ultimate glory. They show a fan base tired of pretty numbers and narratives that don't become results. They show a group that knows talent isn't the issue. The issue is turning it into genuine October baseball. And then comes a reflection that hurts, but is unavoidable. The Bronx has lived through turbulence like this before. Moments when a good team seems stuck from the inside, needing something you don't find on a spreadsheet. Identity, focus, health, courage. Judge is historic. He is giant. He is a Yankee forever. But even he feels the urgency, the sense that the clock is ticking, and that they can't afford to waste another season with unrealized potential. What his words reveal is simple and brutal. Talent they have. Time, maybe not as much as people think. And Yankees Nation feels that deeply. News 2. The truth is that the catcher position was an open wound throughout the entire season. Wells showed potential. Rice showed growth, but the rotation behind the plate never inspired the confidence a team dreaming of October needs to have. The front office knows that. The fans know that. And every tense game made it clear that someone experienced was missing. Someone who could hold down the defense and still contribute at the plate when it mattered most. That's why, when the possibility appears that the Yankees might move aggressively in the trade market this offseason, the whole Bronx stops to listen, and the name that appears on the radar is one of those that can change the structure of a roster. And what came next no one expected. Jake Storial, from Talk Yankees, poured gasoline on the subject by predicting that the Yankees might try to trade for Ryan Jeffers of the Minnesota Twins. And suddenly everything started making sense. Jeffers is exactly the kind of reinforcement that balances a lineup. Strong against left-handers, experienced, with solid numbers, and with a game understanding that many people praise, including Jeff Passan, who said he is one of the best strategists in baseball. Last season, he hit .266 with 9 home runs and 47 RBIs, having had years with 21 home runs. That's no small thing for a catcher. The question now is clear. Could Jeffers be the missing piece to give Wells security and finally adjust the team's offensive balance? The reaction was immediate. The fans saw the logic in forming a duo, Wells and Jeffers, that would bring defensive stability and offensive options. And on the other side came Cashman's statement that Ben Rice has every chance to be the starting first baseman next year. That pushes the need for a second catcher even further. The organization knows the catcher market is small, knows that options like this don't appear every day, and knows the position costs them wins in 2025. And the question hanging over Yankees Nation is inevitable. Is this a move that finally fixes a roster exactly where it needed help the most? Behind the scenes, the discussion is straightforward. If Rice is going to first base, there's no reason to keep improvising. Wells and Escara are under contract through 2026, but the team saw firsthand that the position needed more depth. Cashman's words reinforce that view. He isn't looking for a right-handed catcher just because, but makes it clear that if someone appears who truly makes sense, the Yankees will go after him. And Jeffers fits that profile perfectly. Someone who adds immediate value, real experience, and a bat that can change games. The feeling in the Bronx is that this is one of those decisions that shape an offseason. And then comes the bigger reflection. In years when the Yankees were strong behind the plate, the team always had identity. Catchers who controlled the rotation, dictated the rhythm, organized the chaos. The truth is that 2025 exposed an obvious need, and the pursuit of Jeffers sounds like the kind of move serious teams make when they want to win now. It's not about replacing Wells. It's about giving the roster something it lacked all year: stability, strategy, presence. And for a Yankees Nation that lives between hope and frustration, seeing this kind of movement brings that feeling that, finally, the front office is looking at the right problems. So let's wrap this up, Yankees Nation. Today was one of those days when you feel the weight and greatness of what it means to wear and root for the most famous pinstripes in sports. On one side, Aaron Judge, our captain, making it clear that every award, every MVP, every individual honor means nothing if the team doesn't get back to competing for a title. On the other, the front office facing reality and studying serious moves, like the possible arrival of Ryan Jeffers, to fix a position that hurt the team all season long in 2025. These two stories meet at a common point: urgency. The Bronx wants to win. The roster wants to win. The front office needs to win. And the fans, the same ones who lived 2009 as if it were yesterday, and who feel every empty October like a punch to the stomach. But they're also the same ones who hold the jersey to their chest and say, next year, we're back. The moment is turbulent, yes, but it is also revealing. Judge's words expose the soul of the team. The pursuit of Jeffers shows there is a plan. And the feeling left behind is that mix only those who live Yankee Stadium understand: deep frustration and stubborn hope. Because being a Yankee means believing, even when the Bronx feels like it's collapsing. And that jersey is heavy, but this fan base never gives up. Drop a comment telling me what you think. Yankees Nation. And leave a like to show that this passion never fades.